Bring chat up.
That. Hi. So we're late because we were just sitting here babbling. I completely forgot about the time, and Aidan, forever the professional, said, "By the way, Vic, it's 5 past."
See that, professional. I'm not even drunk yet.
Who are we going to pick on first? We'll pick on Adam because he's obviously not ready.
I went, do you know what? I've had a hot chocolate, and you know when you don't stir it properly and you get all of the cocoa powder at the bottom?
Oh, you're going to eat that.
That's what's just made me laugh. So I'm glad you said that because I am vaping vapey stuff, right? I did have a bit of a meltdown before because I could not, for the life of me, find a charged battery.
He was
right?
panicking.
So I am on Dead Rabbit V2, freshly built, freshly wicked. I don't know if I'll be able to show you this, just to show you that I can still build and wig.
Oh yeah, that's looking good. Yeah,
some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Chico coils on there.
That's looking good.
They are
looking good, man.
That doesn't look like a bad build, that does it?
Not bad for a pod vapor.
Exactly that. But oh yeah,
I like it. Straight on the nose.
I haven't. Do you know what? I have actually missed RDA vaping. I really, really have. I just wish it were 20 milligram. In that, I have got some wonderful, 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 most curious curdle. By the wonderful Rochford project. If we're going to do it, we'll do it properly. But the flavour is so good.
That's because it's not a then.
Oh, wait there. Pulse AIO 1.5. Fresh build, fresh wick. I am not breaking this open because it were a right pain in the arse. In that,
I have got loads of dribbles on his doors.
Yeah. I have got the amazing Chocolate.
I've run out of that.
I adore that flavour. And do you know what? It's very Moorish, and I'm being really, really controlled with it. Like, super controlled.
I mean, he sent me like 4 bottles with the sponsorship.
Yeah.
4 bottles were gone like that. I can plough through them.
I've even, for the first time ever in a Rochford project liquid, I've actually let them steep first.
You've got to with Chocolate. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It is great. And do you know what? I nicked it to 3 milligram, and then I put an extra shot in there, so it's actually 6 milligram.
Just to give it. Told me the Tiger, then, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
It's great.
It's great.
But yeah, another vapey thing. Yeah, another vapey thing. Then, just to bring it back, B60, Lemon and Lime by Riot, Bar Edition.
That's a decent little juice, that.
Oh, it's banging. Absolutely. That's 20 milligram. That's grand. And then I am on another pod kit. I'm on the X-Ross 3 Nano Midget Mini thing. And do you know what? I don't like it. I don't know what I don't like about it. I just don't know what I like about it. It's got that sort of textured feel to it, which feels grim under my fingers. Like, I feel like have you used the X-Ross 3? Yeah, it's got that. It's got that texture. Next time you hold it, you're going to be like, no, I don't like it. But it's got that textured back to it. And I've got some brand new liquid in this. I know Mr. Flatcap has just done a review on it, and you can't see it.
Can't see it.
You can't see it. I'll see if I can make it magic hand. It's jacked. So the guys at
Never heard of them.
It is the guys at Disposable have picked one flavour out of each range and put them into this jacked edition. Now, jacked is double concentrate. Flavour is pumping. I've got the red currant grape and cherry in there, and it is good. It is really, really good. And it's slightly harsh, which I do like. It's slightly harsh.
So if they're doing double concentrate, I think those guys work off of 15 to 20%. So you must be looking at something like 30, 40% flavouring. That's a lot.
Which'll I know they say it's 50-50, but that much flavouring will inherently put a little bit more on the PG side.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What is it? Nick Salt or Freebase?
It's Nick Salt, but it's got sort of this inherent harshness to it.
That's because of the PG. It'll be the
I turned around to Jackie last night. I went, try this. And she went, she's a proper vapor now, right? She's a proper vapor. And she uses a Flexus continuously. And I turned around to her and says, just have a toot on this. Just have a try. And she went, just about direct to lung it. And I'm sorry. I did laugh, but I am sorry. Right. And that's my buffet. Some vapey things, some poddy things. I think I've done really well this week.
And that was Adam, who's got some vapey and poddy things. On to Mr. Aidan, and happy anniversary, Aidan.
Thank you very much. Yeah, big love to my wife, who's actually laid in bed. She's got a bit of a rumbly tummy, so she's going to sleep. She's asleep with Fern. So, yes, it's been one of those days. But big love to my wonderful wife. Happy anniversary. Yes, to be honest with you, today's been just one of them days. So I was at work yesterday, worked Tuesday, and I worked all weekend. So I've been mainly on pod systems because they're very easy to take to work, and also it means somebody's not going to be nicking. But I have got stuff on my desk, obviously, that I do have a little toke on. But yes, the ones that I've been using is it Onio, or is it 1.0?
I don't fucking know.
It's the new one from Oxford, really, really nice. And again, I've got some Zeus juice in here, and I love this one. It's the Neptune. I'm on my third bottle of it. It's cherry and watermelon. This stuff is absolutely gorgeous. Then I've got the Vapor SO Lux Pro, X Pro, still with some Chubby Juice Ultimate. And I've been actually vaping this, zero nicotine.
Oh.
So I've actually just stuck 2 Nick shots in it. To give me a little bit more nick.
Yeah.
You
know what? It's nice to go minimum nick every now and again. It really is.
Not for me, it's not. If I don't.
Well, that stuff is really, really nice. The Ultimate Slurpee, it is absolutely gorgeous. So go and get yourself some of that. And that is me. That's what I've got on my desk. That's what I've been vaping on. So it has been very, very simple from me.
That was quick. Okay, my turn then.
I'm not always quick.
Yeah, not always quick.
Not always.
Not always.
Especially after a few beers.
Oh, hey. So usual mouth to lung setup. Vapefly Albrecht 2 with the Vapefly Unibox. In the Albrecht, I have got some Drake's Reserva. It's basically a Cuban cigar, naturally extracted. It's rather strong. The flavour's rather strong. I'm still getting used to it. We're reviewing this next week, more than likely. Still on the age-old SL the SX Mini SL. It's not the SL, it's the Q Mini. For fuck's sake.
Q Mini branded.
For fuck's sake. This is why I'm going off the tramadol, because my head's fucking roasted now. So yeah, it's the Q Mini branded, still with the Mike Vapes Blaze 2. And on top of this, I don't have the Black Vine in there. Nope, I've got some of my own juice in there. Go and buy it now. Thank you, I need the money. Thank you. It's the Princess from the Regency line. Other bit of kit I've got going, I'm back on the G-Class version 2 because the old G-Class version 1 cannot handle this tank, because this tank's currently ohming out at 0.15 ohms. It's the Osiris 30mm, reviews up sometime this weekend. And in this, I've got some of my peach custard, which you can also get from the Regency line. Buy it now, I need the money. Thank you! And that's us. See you next week.
Wait there. Can I just get involved in this domestic that's happening in chat? My wife says, Paul B, Adam's vape stuff is all over the house, right? I think you'll find that it is now joint. So there is Jackie's juices are at the side of the bed. Jackie's spare kits are on my desk. Jackie's liquid and coils are also on my desk.
Try not to show me boxer shorts. Want to move it higher? There we go. Bit higher, sorry.
But yeah, literally all over the house, to be fair.
I was a little low. My hangover lasted 2 days, if I'm totally honest with you. I felt absolutely crap. I'm getting too old to drink like that. But I did enjoy the show, though. It was a good old giggle on the show. Apart from, obviously, Sean announcing that he's leaving.
Yeah, so, Sean's announcement that he left.
I was rather gutted about that. But yeah, my hangover all right. As of where my vape stuff is, obviously I've got a studio. So the front of my house is my studio bit. And it's all over here.
Yeah, to be fair, like, I don't even want to show what my desk looks like at the minute.
Yeah, my desk is a fucking disaster, so I'm not showing you this desk.
Just found an old Pepperami That's where that came from. I've been watching them people who like get things off the internet, what's broke, and fix it.
Yes.
Soldering and stuff like that. So I've ordered myself a soldering iron. So one of the kids had broke one of the adapters. So I'm like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I've got to redo this bit and solder that bit. So I'm going to start fixing crap.
Have you ever
I've
soldered
got a
before?
lollipop stick from my daughter.
Years and years ago, I've soldered. So I'll be sat there with like burns all over my fingers and everything. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, watch out now for the Little Bro Vapes reviews. Mech mod.
Yeah, and that'll have hot glue in it and shitting like the other lads. No, never.
So we were having quite a good conversation before we got rudely interrupted by having to go live about disposables. Let's not cover it too much. But and I know that I've seen Mark H is in chat, so good evening everyone in chat. And I would like your input in this if you know of any vape shops or work in any vape shops or anything else. And I've seen Bunny, so hi Bunny. Hi Bunny. We're having quite an influx of people walking in the shop at the minute. We've got the initial scared people, right? The sole disposable users, no matter how many talks we give them, no matter how many lectures on how much it costs or anything else, because we've seen them quite regular. But we are starting to see the influx of customers that are starting to walk in and say to us, what's next?
Pod.
Like, exactly that. What's the next step? Now, the conversion at the minute is going to take off massively, and I'm sure that Bunny and Mark will sort of fall into this conversation quite a lot as well. The thing is, for every sort of disposable user that we're seeing converting, we are also starting to see the other side, where we are now seeing the 5 milligram salt users start moving on to the idea, if not the purchase, of something that is a little bit more sub-ohmy.
Right.
It is slowly but surely. It's not going to happen like immediately, but it's going to get there. Just call me Nez. Currently working a vape shop, 4 years, and the current one, can't wait to see the back of them when you have devices like the Aspire GoTech costing a quarter of the price to run for a month. Exactly that. I'm getting loads of folks stocking up because they think they won't be able to get them after tomorrow. Exactly that.
Yeah, the panic buyers, Bunny. It happens all the time.
It's them same people who are getting through all that toilet roll and pasta from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
But a shopping cart full of toilet roll.
It's going to force a lot of hands. And do you know what it really, really needs? And I think I'm actually going to put a big push for this. Like, it's going to really need a lot of education and a lot of information out there. And I think we should make a real big stand over the next coming few weeks for certain about we denoted and we destroyed pod kits when they first came out, but look what we use the most of most days. We use high nicotine and we use a good pod kit.
I'm going to tell you somebody exactly, and you both of you know him really well, Mike, and he used to be Mike Mech's reviews.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
you would never see him anything else but a mech in his hand. Now he uses pods. 20 milligram Nixels.
The only time I use pods is if I'm on the train down to Birmingham, or I'm out shopping, which is very rare. Most of the time I'm using these.
And that's great. But I think over the next coming weeks, I think we could, and I don't know whether I'm overstepping the mark, but we could implement a section for the people on the replay or the people who are finding it for the first time. A little conversation around pods, starter kits, or free base. Not your starter like your eSig 101, but obviously something that is going to push these people in the right direction. Because believe it or not, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, I can honestly see, I would never say the good old days of vaping YouTube, but we're going to start to see, and hopefully very soon, we'll start to see those newbies. If you remember a few years ago, we're all old enough and dumb enough to know this, but a few years ago, what we used to see is the amount of people coming into chat going, it's my 7th day without a cigarette.
Yeah.
it's my 4th day without a cigarette. And those people were finding us. And those people were finding us because of the information that we put out there. And I think as a community, we should all put a push on giving these people the right direction.
Again, buddy, we've said it loads of times. Just going on to your bit of pushing people in the right direction. If they were sold in the right place, like we said,
Exactly.
week in, week out, in a vape shop, then that's where somebody who knows, instead of Margaret on the checkout at Tesco's, you're going to know, they're going to be able to then say, well, look, these are all right if you're going on holiday or if you need something quick, you know what I mean? But they're not the way to carry on.
No.
Pod systems like this, and then you can get yourself onto sub-ohming. I personally can't really take sub-ohm tanks out anymore with me. Plus, I'm more of a mouth to lunger anyway, because when you're in the work environment that I'm in, I can still vape. The last thing you want to be doing is sub-ohming ginormous clouds out.
You don't want to cloud the pub out. Yeah.
Even if you're just nipping out shopping, or you don't. Me personally, don't take that because I think it's inconsiderate because you're just blowing ginormous clouds around people. So I normally stick to my mouth to lung, or I stick to a little pod kit, and because I'm normally out working. But when I'm in here, then yeah. But again, a pod system, I take it to bed. You know what I mean? Instead of fogging the room out,
Joe Guitar Tech has put in, hear me out, lads. Disposable vapes did help those smokers get off tabs. It was easier to smoke. It was easier to vape. I'm sorry. I'm just so Aidan don't kick off.
I'm not going to get triggered. It's all right. I'm on my medication.
And maintain the sub-ohm. Disposables made it easier than a tab. No need to carry a lighter. It's very true, and that's why this information needs going out there, because a lot of these people are going to have this misconception, this common misconception that I see on a day-to-day basis of, I don't want to mess about changing coils. I don't want to unscrew a tank. I don't want to top a tank. The thing is, nowadays, with the push-fit coil that majority of kits use, or even a pod, the information out there to let someone know that it is no longer carrying 3 batteries around, that comes later. That's the hobbyist side. You can carry your batteries around. You can carry your sub-ohm tanks. You can carry your 120ml bottles. But when you've got that in your pocket at any one time, and all you have to do is go like that and tilt it to one side to find out if you've got liquid in it, it's just as easy.
There's two magic points in there, and again, I really do, because it is all, we're glad they're all fucking off these disposables. Again, you're making it hard for smokers to find a way to get onto vaping to stop smoking by taking them completely out. Well, there's actually 3 points I want to make. That one, you've then got the fact of that you're actually banning something that's vaping. Is this going to start opening doors? Well, we banned them, so we're going to ban this, so we're going to ban that. It's all, they make too much clouds. We're now going to make everybody have to do mouth to lung. The third one, as well as, is it going to be start pushing things black market? They're your 3 things, all which could be changed if they just stop selling them in places where they shouldn't be and just stick them in a vape shop.
The thing is, the black market already exists. Unfortunately, it does. It's illegal for us as a UK vape shop to sell anything above a 600 puff. Yet the majority of people that still walk in going, do you sell Elux bars? Do you sell 3,500 puffs? Right? So the black market thing is unfortunately always going to be there. And it doesn't matter what product it is, it's always going to be there.
But when you're saying black market, a lot of these 4,000 odd puffs are the ones that are actually out
Corner
there.
shop.
They're from another country.
Yeah.
Where they can sell them. So it's exactly the same thing, but it's just bigger. Don't get me wrong, there is obviously snipes out there. But when you're getting something that's 4,400 puffs or 4,000 puffs, whatever, and they come with the proper, you scratch it off and check it on the website.
Yeah. Authenticity.
That's not black market, really. It's illegal.
It's just the way that it's getting into the country. Don't forget. A couple of months ago, I think it were about 6 months ago, there was a mass capture at the docks where they'd brought in a load in shipment containers. There was absolutely thousands. There was a distro in Manchester, a big Manchester distro.
Yeah, we all know which distro that is.
But they got caught, right? And when they got caught, they had full seizure of products equaling £750,000, and they managed to get away because don't forget the legal terminology for it is £10,000 per item. So it's £10,000 per item. If you've got a box of 10 of these, it's full seizure of products and up to £10,000 per item. So it's £100,000 for a pack of 10. But they got away. I say they got away. They got away with a £350,000 fine on a £750,000 worth of stock.
Which is
so they got
nothing to
off
them.
extremely lightly.
They did.
But the problem is, and this is nailing back to one of your sort of regulation points, that those illegally customed, whether they be authentic or not, those illegally customed ones in are not coming via your vape shop who's going to go, no, we can't sell them. We'll send them back. They go into Happy
Corner
Shopper,
shops.
corner shops, and everything else where they go in. Everyone's having these, so
Yeah.
I'm going to have them.
He was saying, but how many of us tried vaping because we saw it and decided to try it at the cig counter? You've only got to walk around any town centre now, and there's the majority of people, not majority of people, there's a hell of a lot of people vaping.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think it'd be necessarily just, oh, there's a vape device there, I'll try that. It would then be, well, where do you get these vapes from? And if you get yourself into a vape shop, there is a number of them. There must be 6 or 7 or in Doncaster where you'll be able to get yourself there, who could then give you the right information from the start.
It needs to go down the route of a tobacco license, like a proper tobacco license. And the threat of you will lose your license if you get caught selling them.
Yeah, but again, I feel for Bunny because we've had this conversation before with the license side of it, and you've mentioned it as well, Vic. It's got to be a proper amount. It's not got to be something stupid like the government does, where instead of it being more to do with the monetary side of it, it needs to be more on the regulation side of it, saying, look, this is a small license fee of maybe £500 a year or whatever, to then be able to say to them, but you're going to have to run through that hoop, and make sure you've got all this in place.
So your best option, from a point of view, is your best option would be very similar to a pub license. So your pub license is now personal license. What you do is you pay a nominal fee, and then your person who's going to be holding the personal license then goes and does a course. The course lasts for a day. You answer your weights and measures and everything else, and then once you've finished that, you get handed a certificate, which you then have to take to your town hall to then go and get it certified and get it handed to you. Now, if we had, and the thing is, the personal license then gives the responsibility to yourself, so you can then go and sell it. If we had something very similar, which is a nominal fee, like you said, if it were a £500 course, it'd be an 8-hour full day course of, look, this is what's legal, this is what's not legal. This is challenge 25. This is what we should all be running. It's a tobacco product, even though it's 18 to sell it. It should be 25 on the door. You should be able to look at someone and go, right, I need to ID you. So on and so forth. These are the rules that we want you to work to. And when it goes to that, the problem with that is obviously the grey areas, such as accessories, bubble glasses and stuff like that.
Can figure something out for the accessories.
Yeah, a full 8-hour course. At the end of the day, you walk away. You have to go to your town hall to then get it signed off. It's not causing any more problems because you go into a license inside. So you're going to get your license signed off. That then means that if anything is caught being sold in your shop, that license can be revoked, which also we'd call it a blacklist. You know, when a pub gets closed, you know about it. Yeah. If a pub gets closed for underage serving, you know about it.
Oh, yeah, you know.
We should be, if we're going to regulate, we should go into the same boat, and we should be like, right, this shop sold to underage, name and shamed, done. You've had your license revoked.
And obviously, the big bit that we've also sort of skipped over is the environmental bit of it. They need to put laws on that and pressure these companies such as Geek Bar, Elf Bar. These people have made billions and billions from these devices to make them able to be actually, so you can dispose of them or they take them back, so that we're not having this problem with the councils and they're not exploding in bins and blah blah blah. They need to make it so you can either take them to your vape shop and they send them back and then they dispose of them properly, something along them lines, because it's the companies that have got to be held responsible for this as well.
Honestly, this is where I'm going to sound like eco warrior, but the environmental side, we're seeing something that just puts the negative spin on it, because one of the big things that they're going to come up against, and this is the government, and I don't want to get all ranty and political, but one of the things that they're going to come up against is they're actually stating about this green scheme that they're doing at the moment with the petrol cars and diesel cars, and they're saying we want to save the planet, we're not going to sell any petrol or diesel cars, and now they're pushing that back. That's negative reinforcement. This is something that they're going to go, right, the environmental side is being suffered by these disposables. We'll sell an electric car then. That's the mindset that the world's in, unfortunately. Now, we climate control and everything else, this all boils into that big conversation where they're going to go on the environmental side. And we can sit here and preach and talk about it. But the environmental side, the only thing I want to see from people with disposable is stick it in a fucking bin, right? Stop throwing it on the floor. Stop chucking it around the ground.
And the box.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just vaping either. If you look at our streets nowadays, I would talk to the kid, if you took your sweet wrapper off, you put it in your pocket and they all found a bin. Still do it now. I'll look for a bin. I'll hold something. Or if my kids do it, pick that back up. People don't do that now. They just dump it on the floor. Just going, what you're saying about Loris, I didn't go right down to the bottom. I went probably about so much off the bottom of it and sort of like damned it a little bit.
Yeah, I went right down to the bottom with a wicking. Well, you can't see it because it's fucking too dark, but you're right down to the bottom with a wicking. That way I don't get any seeping or leakage from the airflow control.
Yeah, I've had no leaking or anything from it. Like I said, mine's just past it, and I left just a little bit of a gap.
A tiny bit of space. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of space, and then made sure that it was sort of like, as you do it, like the damn bit of it. So when like when you're actually wicking it itself, if you stick a bit of juice on it, just so it sits in nicely into the actual wicking ports,
so it expands too.
Just damn it nicely in, and then you'll be fine. Sorry about that, Adam.
John, I totally agree with you with the lithium donut, right? I totally agree with you. But how quick do you think you'd see them banned if we started to see public bins setting on fire?
Oh, God, yeah.
Right?
An instant ban if that's
I'm not being funny, but we get that anyway from the cigarettes.
Exactly.
Yes, you do.
The amount of times I'm having to run outside, we can smell it. You know, when I'm DJing, we've got a public bin outside. So there's people that put these things on top, don't they? Like
them catch grates.
Yeah, so the cigarettes just go into the bin.
Yeah.
So especially if somebody's done one of them roll-ups that are like a fucking toothpick. So,
prison fags.
Yeah, they're one of them ones that like they're just getting down to the last little bit of it, throw it in, and you can smell it. Dave, go get your jugs out. It's burning.
I've got another good conversation for you that I've been saving up for a couple of weeks. So obviously, PMI, right? PMI want to get involved, and I can't normally talk about this in the daytime, so I've been saving this, right? PMI trying to get into everything, always as always, right? Have just released a new product, right? They've kind of binned the IQOS name.
Yeah, that's fucked.
It's now called the Illumia, right? Now,
Isn't that stuff that you fry and it tastes like rubber?
No, that's halloumi.
All right.
But they've just released the Illumia, or the Illumia and Illumia 1, right? Now, this is a completely different design, right? And I've got a worry about this because they're calling it induction, right? Anything that's induction contains some kind of induction element to be able to be used, right? So the old style IQOS was a blade
that heats
tobacco
up.
sits over the top, and it heats it, right? This new Illumia product now has a different heat mini cigarette, embassy special filter, whatever you want to call it. It's got the new smoky thing. Now, what they've done is they've reduced the amount of tobacco that's in it to minimal.
So that way you buy more.
You buy more, but it's also still the same price.
Yeah.
So they've done a Snickers. They've done an absolute celebrations, right?
I bought one of them the other day, and I thought I bought a party size. You know, them little tiny ones.
Yeah.
Where's the rest of it?
So PMI have done exactly the same. They've done a fun size cigarette. And what they've done is they've called it induction. So it's got a cap on the bottom and a filter on the top, right? inside the tobacco is a metal stick.
Oh, I see where this is going. That does not sound
Right.
safe.
It does not. It does not. And I was, because obviously PMI did this big push in America on harm reduction, right? They brought in vapey people, they brought in health people, and they tried, to all their credit, after all the shit that they've caused, they tried to sort of try and rectify and start to talk about harm reduction, which is what we want, right? Even if it's a tobacco company talking about it, the power that they've got behind them, if they can get onto harm reduction and we go in the right direction, all for it. I'm never going to say I'm going to get in bed with the devil, but I'm all for it. This new kit, however, has a little plate. Now, I'm not scientifically minded in that kind of way. John S., you've nailed it. It reminds me of the dry herbs.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
But it's got a metal stick in the inside, and I don't know what the metal stick's made out of.
The metal stick's going to be some kind. If they're going for true induction, like those types of things that John S. is talking about, it's probably some kind of ferrous metal pole which is running straight up through the middle, and that carries the induction current down into the cup. Technically, now from a technical standpoint, the dry herb vaporizers have been using something like that for a very, very long time.
They're ceramic bowls as well.
Yeah, ceramic bowls and stuff. But the big difference is the vaporization temperature of dry herb and tobacco, because tobacco needs a much higher temperature to vaporize compared to dry herb. That's the issue. Not that I know about dry herb and stuff.
But this is it. It's like we all talk about innovation, right? And even if it's innovation in some way, shape, or form, right? But I don't understand how a company can bring something to market and blatantly cover it by calling it induction, right? They've gone, this is induction, and they've sort of pigeonholed it right in this sort of area. And I just wondered your thoughts on it, though, Ron.
Well, I can tell you now, it won't take off here. It just won't.
No. Again, somebody was sat there saying about Vaporesso. I think they use Vaporesso with the filter and the mouthpiece. That's happened.
Oh yeah, Aspire did that.
Aspire did it, and another company who made this like wizard's wand that did it, and it was like what were they called? They were like a mainstream sort of. I did a review on it, and the thing about it was the actual pod itself only lasted, because you obviously put pod in it and then vape it, it only lasted like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And they were like £3 some odd a pod.
Way fucking expensive.
I can't remember who they were.
Maybe that's how PMI are going to stop making... And maybe that's how they stop making tobacco products by the end of 2030. They just slowly but surely start putting little and little and little.
The company was called Edge.
Edge, right. Yeah.
And it was like a wand, and that had a filter in it as well.
Yeah.
I love the idea of the filter. It's like the Aspire did it, and I reviewed that.
Aspire did the filter.
The filter,
that's
yeah.
The one.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, if you think about somebody who's quitting smoking, who still wants that sort of sensation.
Yeah, because it felt like a cigarette, it did.
Yeah, it's that filter that's in your mouth. And it didn't take away of any of the flavour at all.
No. And it actually warmed up like a cigarette.
It did. It did work.
That's another way of aiming for the new smuckers.
Do you know what, right? And that's what it's all about. I mean, when going back to it, the idea that these people, I've got a firm belief that vaping YouTube, even if we do finally find that holy mecca that is a vape orientated place where people can still go down rabbit holes, the world of information on vaping is going to research.
Oh yeah.
That might be in next year, it might be in the next 2 years, but I think it's going to happen, especially as we see those people progress. Or
it's going to go the total other way, and it's going to be more bad press going to it, and they're going to start banning other stuff. It was like I watched a documentary, another YouTube thing, where a woman was sat down there. I think it was actually a doctor on there, and I'm thinking, you've been paid, bro. You've been paid. Saying about don't vape, how bad it is. But he sort of shot himself in the foot by saying that I think it was 54% of the people who had problems with vaping had been vaping THC, or which has obviously got acetate in it. Well, the thing is, in it is vaping hasn't got acetate in it unless you're buying some dodgy liquids.
Yeah.
Don't buy it. Get it from a reputable company. And I was actually watching it with a mate of mine because I can't remember if he were at work. Somebody's, they put it in front of you.
Yeah.
And I said to him, well, you've got to think vodka. How many times have you heard about the dodgy batch of vodka that's made people go blind or kill them?
Yeah.
They're not saying completely ban that, are they? No. It's if you don't buy anything from a reputable company that you know that are all right. It's like how many times have we bought dodgy coils off of Amazon or eBay? You've thought that they're the proper coils, they come back over and they're not.
So I had a great good conversation. I had a really good conversation with a guy about this because he turned around to me and he says, your coils are £4 more expensive than what I can buy on Amazon. And I turned around and my first question, and I will let anyone who works in a vape shop have this one, right? First question you ask someone who does that is, do you have Prime? Do you pay for Prime? And they'll either go yes or no. You want the no, because you've just paid £4 for your shipping, right? So you've paid £4 for someone to go, that, right? Imagine it the other way around. You just paid me £4 to go, that's in your bag for you, sir. There you go.
Exactly.
It's exactly the same. Now, Amazon, this is where it gets quite funny. eBay, don't trust it, right? Plain and simple. If you're going to buy vape products off eBay, don't. Unless you know what you're looking for, unless you know exactly ins and outs of what you're actually looking for.
They've got good customer feedback.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as anything. If you know a serial number that you're after and it's 001,
I say killer.
Yeah. If you know what you're after, that's by the by, right? But as a general rule, don't. Amazon, on the other hand, are a reputable company, so they don't have necessarily fakes on there. What they have is independent sellers who go and buy those return crates where they'll have terrible batches on them, and then they'll go £7 for your pack, knowing full well that probably 60% of that pallet is returns, right? And they'll sell them. And that's the only thing with Amazon. You don't have to worry about the fakes. You just have to worry about the return.
I think you do get some of them that are fakes. There's people buying them and selling them on there. But the other bit is again, I don't know about you, is when you read Amazon, obviously I always go down to the reviews, but then you'll get loads of people going, these are absolutely fantastic. There's nothing wrong with them. And then you'll get a few of them that's going, these are absolutely terrible. So by the end of when you've read them, you start getting as confused as you did before when you were looking at them. It's like, is it any good or isn't it any good?
The only thing that I like to read the reviews on Amazon is the sugar-free gummy bears. And if you haven't already, go over and read them, please.
Yeah, I've read them. Yeah. They're basically
William Dobson. Sorry. What? Do you know what's really bad, right? Is I've made my screen extra large so I can read. I have... William Dobson wants to see me empty my sack.
Ooh.
Join my OnlyFans, £10. I'll show you my dick. All right.
Well, it's going to be more sack than dick. We're getting old.
Yeah, it is at minute. Right. Let me make. I've got this worked out to a fine tea now. I can make you smaller. Oh shit! I can't read that. I do this while I'm recording. I make everything small.
Where's your hearing aid? Where's your glasses?
I don't need them. I've got 125% zoom. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, it is sack time. It is sack time of the evening. Let me bring up all comments. Top of the play card this evening. William Dobson, what a surprise.
Oh, here we go.
Read me. Fluff, Planet Shuffle. Age can't remember. Disaster. Somebody left the latch on the cargo door and all the beer went out. Now we are on emergency ration. 1 flange each. Roughly works out to 1.7 litres on Earth. But it's only the weak beer. About 36%. So we are going straight to the planet forever hard. So we can restock before there is a mutiny. Apart from that, everything else on this Nexus class starship for the whole is going well for once. To all the casters of the #1 UK vape show. That was fucking time, that. Well done, lads. You have all heard the news, but what do you each personally think the impact will have on the vape industry, good or bad? And I'm guessing...
He's talking about disposables.
Yeah.
Or if you like my brother, when I spoke to him in our chat, he went, "What news?"
Yeah.
So I told him that the news about disposables, when you vape them, it makes breasts explode.
Now I'm saying.
So we've obviously just covered it really in what we were just saying. There's pros and there's cons to it. Don't you think, Vic? There's an upward side of it and a downside of it.
I think it's all pros. It's all pros. I think I'm one of the less than handful of YouTube UK reviewers that just flat out said, I'm supporting this ban 100%. And there is reasons behind it that I covered in the last WhatsApp. The simple fact is, if they were going to legislate this, if they were going to say, put a licence in for the vape shops, £500 or £1,000 a year, there's your licence, disposables can only be sold in vape shops, the problem would still be around. It would still be around. It wouldn't be so much the problem because, you know, the majority of the underagers were getting these disposables from corner shops and petrol stations and supermarkets.
And parents buying them for them.
Yeah, so the underage problem wouldn't be a big of a problem, but the littering problem would still be there. And we need to remember it's the councils, not UKVIA, not IBVTA, not NNA, not fucking Parents Against Vaping or shit. It was the actual councils that complained to the government about the littering problem, bin lorries catching fire and all that kind of shit. The problem may not have the problem may not have been as bad, but a flat out ban for all single-use disposables just gets rid of the problem like that. And the way I'm looking at it is this. We're going to be under a Labour government by the end of 2024. The Labour government is inherently anti-vaping. Any door left open to them to pin the blame about how bad vaping is on something, any door left open to them is a door that they're going to kick in and try and run with. Yeah, the Tories are a bunch of fucking they're not going to win the next election, but the one good thing the Conservatives did is treat this industry with a hands-off approach. They let UKVIA, they let IBVTA, and they sort of let the NNA basically regulate major portions of the industry by themselves. The government was hands-off, but when the Labour Party take over, they're going to be hands-on. They're going to ignore UKVIA. They're going to ignore the IBVTA. They're going to ignore the NNA. Half the Labour Party want a flavour ban. The other half want a full ban. Any door that's close to them that they can pick up and run with, I am all for.
And obviously as well, that you've got Starmer coming out today saying that he wants to work very, very closely with the EU. He says
which is another problem all by itself.
Yeah, because he wants to, because obviously their legislation he's wanting to work closely with. Now, if you look at what's looking in Europe, and a lot of the places, look at the Netherlands and places like that,
flavour bans.
They're banning vaping completely.
And if you look at Germany, now, the taxation that's going on for German e-liquids, it's like practically doubled the cost of e-liquids if you're vaping in Germany. That's what's happening in Europe right now.
I'm optimistic because, like you said, Vic, if we can get the door shut before the Labour come in, that's
shut
that's
the
by
door
the
before
by.
the horse comes in.
Incredibly cautious, because all it takes is 6 months of ban of disposables for the what's the word?
For it to move on to something else.
Well, it's not just that. It's you just think if these kids, because that's what it boils down to. We can call it the environmental side. We can call it everything else. It's the underage vaping epidemic that we're going through, which we are never ever going to stop.
And as much as catching fire.
Yeah, but I don't think you think, and we can go back to our own youth, right? Smoking's bad. Don't pick up cigarettes.
Smoking's
what
bad.
Did we do? Don't drink.
I smoked like a fucking chimney when I was young.
Don't drink. How many times did you stand outside? Please, I hope to God that there's no under 18s watching this. But how many times did we stand outside that shop? Go, excuse me, mister. Here's a favour. Can you get me 10 Richmond, please?
Yeah, come back with 10 sausages.
Yeah. Or what they'd do is they'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go.
Yeah.
But it'll never stop. That underage stuff will never stop. The problem that we'll have
It
is
never
when
went away because you remember. Sorry to interrupt you. We had the soccer mums against vaping, didn't we? Mums against vaping. We had that all the years ago. The other bit that I would say about all of this, and I do like the fact that they're going to discuss it in Parliament. It has that sort of feel like when we go back to 2017, when the TPD were coming out and we didn't know what was going to happen, and we said loads of stuff that vaping were going to be until they start doing it, and you don't know if they're going to make a ginormous tits up of it.
That's the thing.
That's the problem.
That's
so
the problem.
we could sit here as much as we want to go, right, this is going to be a great idea. Before you know it, they could be adding other little bits. If you remember, it wasn't long ago, I think it was in COVID, that they started adding little bits to laws about vaping and stuff backhanded, which wasn't even voted on.
Yeah.
So these are the bits we've got to be worried about, is what else they're going to tag onto it, what else they're going to put onto it, and how it's worded. And it's that, and it has got that feel of the TPD when we did show after show after show.
Yeah.
We were panicking like shit about it. Think about the 50ml short fills and nicks in bottles. We were like, we're gonna be down to this, we're gonna have that, and it.
You never know.
Yeah, you don't know.
You never know.
Good question, William.
Content.
Cracking question, William. That. Do you know what? Okay, now. Martin Saunders writes in. The vaping enigma, timeless, everywhere in the oil smoke from your electronic cigarette. One last time, I know this annoys Aidan. Watching The Godfather of vaping on the UK's #1 vape show, Saturday comes after Thursday, so they're second. Fact. So a twist on a classic question. You are a talk show host, and you have 4 dead famous figures.
Right.
And he's actually categorized them. So there's 1 musician,
right,
1 actor,
right,
1 comedian, and 1 hated figure, i.e., I think he was driving when he wrote this because it says Hitler, Margaret Thatcher, etc. Who are your guests, and what is 1 burning question you would like to ask them? Wow. P.S.
Vic goes last.
Wait there. P.S. Where's Grizz? But hey, be as mad as a box of frogs. I don't understand. Sorry, Martin. I'm trying to read it and I can't. But you should try and get Mr. Hanky Panky on. That's what he's finished the question with.
Oh, as a guest, right?
Yeah, we'll get him on.
So the twist on the question, you're a talk show host, 4 dead famous figures, 1 musician, 1 actor, 1 comedian, and 1 hated figure. And who are your guests, and what is 1 burning question you would like to ask them?
That's a good question.
Cracking question.
You will know. I will ask you what that order is again.
Yeah. Well, musician, actor, comedian, hated figure.
Right. Right, musician, John Lennon. And the question I would ask: why did he leave Yoko and go with his nanny, and then go back to Yoko?
Oh.
What's the next one?
Actor.
Actor. Actor. Who's dead? Well, I'll tell you what, I would, obviously, Robin Williams, I always mention him, I absolutely love him. He sort of fits in the comedian and the sort of actor run of it.
You have a 2 in 1.
Yeah, I would like to ask him why. What his actual thoughts of why he felt that he had to. Obviously, I know a lot of people have put that he had that body dysmorphia and stuff like that, but I'd just like to ask why and what his thoughts was, obviously, at that time. Obviously,
do you know the story? Do you know the story why it's not body dysmorphia? So
yeah,
I looked into this because he had the same disease as my granddad had before he passed. He had something called Logan's body. Now, if anyone knows what Logan's body is, it's the body replicating Parkinson's disease. So it's not like Parkinson's disease. It can also play on your mental state as well. So he had depression that was brought on by early onset Alzheimer's, as well as Logan's body. and I think it was Zelda, his daughter, that came out and said that like this never got found out until he had the autopsy after.
Right.
That he had depression that was brought on by
I
early
think
onset.
they'd already done certain tests though that he knew something about it, because he was on a sitcom, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are on there. Obviously, he was a really good professional, even when he was drunk and he were off his face on cocaine. But he could remember. He couldn't remember his lines, and they knew something wasn't right, and he couldn't get what he needed to get out, and they could tell how poorly he was getting.
Yeah, it was. I looked into it quite a lot because my granddad had Logan's body, along with vascular dementia, and I was like there's the Logan's body stuff is really, really quite interesting because it's the body replicating. Although it's got things like heavy foot associated with it and all sorts of other things that you can get from Parkinson's, it's not actually Parkinson's. It's the body replicating the disease. So it's quite an interesting little read.
So I'd sit him as the actor, and again talking about that same sort of thing. And he's been going through it, which is Billy Connolly.
Yeah.
He's not dead, but I would like to have been able to, like maybe him to tell you your favourite story.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because he's so funny.
He's a good storyteller, Connolly.
What's the next one?
Hated figure.
Hated figure.
Careful.
Yeah. We're not going to go down them routes. We're not going to go down them routes. Hated figure who's dead. I emphasize dead then.
Tell you what, let's play fast and loose. Let's not necessarily say dead. With some of them, you can have one that's alive.
But we'll go for the Margaret Thatcher actually, and just go you cunt.
Bang right on the money.
There you go. That's me done.
Musician, it'd be Freddie Mercury.
Oh yeah.
Right. And do you know what? My one burning question is, why didn't you ask for support? The man was a great figure. Now, although Bohemian Rhapsody is incredibly close to his life story, there's a lot that's missed out. And when it came down to his latter days,
when did he kill a man?
You what?
When did he kill a man?
I don't know about that one, but he asked his mama.
When did he start running around shouting "Scaramouche, Scaramouche"? Can I do the fandango?
But Roger Taylor and Brian May tried their hardest to help Freddie through it all. And when he did Slightly Mad, his last video, and Days of Our Lives, he was really, really poorly, and they wanted him to break and have a break. And do you know what? I'm not saying that he'd have lived any longer if he'd have got the help, but if he'd have had the support from the family that was created around him, then why didn't he accept it?
Obviously, he died of AIDS, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he died of AIDS, and obviously they started way back in the 70s, didn't they? Were it early 70s?
Yeah, a Smile.
And they didn't get as much fame. It was when they did, and you got to think he went off and did a solo album.
Yeah.
As well.
They all did. Brian May went off and did his.
And then obviously they did Band-Aid, didn't they?
Band-Aid, that's the one. Yeah.
And that sort of brought them back together, and it was like he completely took that stage. He was the best actor that was actually on there.
He took over the whole fucking event.
Yeah, did you? But he absolutely fantastic. And I'll tell you what, if nobody's actually seen the film, go watch the film.
It's a good film.
Yeah, it's incredible. Do you know what? It's close. I've read quite a lot on Freddie Mercury, and I cried in 1991 when he died. I was 6 years old. But I love Freddie Mercury. I love Queen. But he'd be my musician. My actor would be. It's just been on my fucking head and all. Wait there.
That happened 3 times with me. You were on tip of my tongue.
It was just then. And do you know what? While I was talking about Freddie, it was there. My actor would probably be. I'm going to come back to actor.
2 syllables. Is he in a film?
My actor. I'm going to come back to it. Comedian would be Victoria Wood. Right?
Oh, can't do it. Can't do it tonight. Beat me on the bottom with a woman's weekly.
My comedian would be Victoria Wood, and My question for her would be, what adversaries did you come up against while becoming a female comedian? Because don't forget, back then they weren't comedians and comedian. They weren't all comedians.
It was basically all guys.
It was all guys. She was in there. She was in the stick. She was fighting her way to pave the way.
Although she wasn't really a comedian, but around about the same time there was Pam Ayres. But she really done poems and stuff. Not really a comedian though.
If you go back, sorry to interrupt you. If you go back, she was doing the sitcoms as well.
Yeah.
With the, what do you call it? What was that one where Two Soups and all that sort of stuff? She was
Dinner Ladies and all that.
No, it was that. What's her name? She was actually in it. What's the other one who she always worked close with? She was in Mamma Mia.
Yes. What's her name?
And she did that Two Soups, and she spilled them all.
The big thing is back in the day she was a comedian, and she was paving the way for the Sarah Millicans and people like that we see nowadays, and obviously that would be my question for her.
She was absolutely fantastic. She was actually married to the great Houdini.
Who? Victoria Wood?
Yeah, like he wasn't the great Houdini. He lived in Wakefield, but he was a magician. He was like this right chubby bloke, and she ended up divorcing him like a little pencil tash. He was a shit magician. Yeah, he was that sort of magician. You could see everything that were happening.
My actor.
Julie Walters, thank you very much.
Julie Walters.
Thank you.
That's her name. Yep. Julie Walters.
My actor would be Rick Mail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it would be... How the hell did you make it famous? Because you can't remember a line and you always used to fuck things up. If you've watched Bottom, right? I adore Bottom Live, right? I could honestly watch Bottom Live over and over again. Yeah. And Bottom Live 3, Hooligan's Island, to all my legends out there that have seen it on repeat as many times as I have. So we have a plot this year, right? It has got to be one of the funniest things. But do you know what? The man was a genius.
He was.
An absolute genius. And
Brilliant.
I would ask him if Greg Davis was his son as well. That'd be another one. Because they are like the young ones.
The young ones that they're mentioning, there was called, I think it was the Dynamite Brothers before him and Eddie. But yeah, absolutely brilliant Bottom, and the stand-up that he did as well.
Yeah.
In the character, he was saying that he did just like a spot.
Drop Dead Fred.
He did Drop Dead Fred. That was good. He just did a spot of what was his name? Was it Richie? Or Richie wanted it on Young Ones. He just did a spot, like a comedy spot on him, and they went, right, this is absolutely brilliant. You're going to get to the show.
Ben Elton.
Ben Elton, yeah.
Ben Elton who wrote it.
He wrote, I wasn't that overly keen on his stand-up because obviously it came for them alternate comedians that came in the early 80s. That's where they all started coming. You had your French and Saunders.
Chim, sand, palm trees, beaches, bamboo. Bamboo. I absolutely love it. Hated figure. My hated figure. Dead hated figure. Do you know what? Hitler. Right.
Yeah, let's just keep it simple. Everybody hates Hitler. We'll just go to him. He likes driving Mercedes cars.
So the
which was designed by a Jewish person, by the way.
So the thing, as if anyone has seen this, right? There's a nice little independent film called Jojo Rabbit, right? Which is Taika Waititi. And Taika Waititi did a film called Jojo Rabbit. And my question to Hitler, my burning question to him, would be, what do you think of your portrayal in the film Jojo Rabbit? Now, if you've never seen Jojo Rabbit, it is a great independent film by Taika Waititi. And it is Taika Waititi in pure...
He just keeps saying that name because he can say it.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
Right, the thing is, he is absolutely in creative juices flowing mode when he wrote that film. He plays Hitler if Hitler was the imaginary friend to a young boy, right? And my burning question would be, what do you think of his portrayal? And I'm not going to say his name again.
Taiko.
Do you know what? That's just like saying I will have Jimmy Savile as a nursery teacher.
Jesus.
Oh wow, no.
You know what I mean? That's not good, is it?
But if you haven't already, go out there and watch Jojo Rabbit. It's a brilliant film. But they are my 4. Vic, over to you.
Just hold on, just before you go. The one that I love, the portrayal of Hitler, is from Little Nicky. When he turns up in that tutu and he goes, "It's time for the pineapple," and he picks out the little tiny one and he goes, "No, no, no." He picks out a medium one, "No, no." He gets the big one and then he shuffles off and he goes, sticking up his heart. You just say, "Einstein."
Right, guess it's my turn. Musician would be Glenn Miller. In the mood, that the swinging big band sound of the late 40s, because he died in the plane crash that killed him on the English Channel. But what I would want to ask him is, what was it like trying to perform when practically every other single band leader of orchestras in the United States were trying to trash you? Because they hated Glenn Miller because he was too fast and too... It was all slow shit in the late 30s, early 40s. Then Glenn Miller showed up, then he died, unfortunately. Actor? Here's one for what's that behind you?
Vincent Price.
Actor would be Jackie Gleason, who was a rather famous, very famous actually, actor in the 40s, 50s and 60s. But there's a story that Jackie Gleason's wife told when Gleason died. Now, apparently Jackie Gleason seen a UFO. He told everyone about this UFO. And then I think it was 1971, he was chatting to Richard Nixon before the whole Watergate scandal popped up. And then Nixon took him to, at that point in time, a very little known airbase in New Mexico. This is confirmed. Roswell. Nixon took him there.
Roswell.
The next week, Gleason denied all knowledge of ever seeing UFOs and never talked about it again. What I would want to ask Gleason is, what the fuck did Nixon show you in Roswell?
Probably a big fucking chair and said, "If you say out again, I'm going to stick you in it."
I think it'd be more along those lines. I've got to jump in with this bit. If anyone watched the press conference from NASA the other day, NASA literally came out and went, "Unlike the American government, we are transparent. We are scientists. If you think that aliens are visiting this planet, please tell us, because we haven't seen anything." It's essentially in their words. And they went, they stand very close to my point on it, which is, look, we're very ignorant if you think we are alone in the universe, right? Yeah. Plain and simple. It may be a 1 in a million chance that we have created life on this planet, but across multiple millions of light years, if this hasn't happened again somewhere else, it's incredibly ignorant to think that. And this is what the scientist said. He went, but there is billions of light years for them to travel. No matter how advanced they are, that is a long way.
A long fucking
the best thing about it, though, is when that actual broadcast finished and they thought that the actual cameras had been cut off, he sat there going, no. To wave to all his mates, going, "Get out, I think we got him."
But I really like that, because they turned around and basically went, "We are transparent. Yes, there are things on this planet we cannot explain, right? But it is essentially probably technology from another country that are working on things that we do not know. If we found something, we're scientists. We want to tell you."
Yeah, but the bit behind that, though, again, it's conspiracy theories. You're thinking, why would they get Margaret, the tea woman, to actually do this press conference?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? She sat down there with like half a bit of rich tea dribbling off her chin.
I'm the guy who knocks the blackboard chalk markers off.
Yeah. Sat down there and all the rest of them, do you think they believed us? Yes, I think they did. We're all right. Right, back over to Will Smith. Take your name now, my phone. Calm down, Margaret. You're all right.
Comedian. Who would I go for, comedian-wise? See, it would need... I want to say Robin Williams, but he didn't write Robin Williams. I'll go for
You can,
Robin.
as long as it's a different question that you're going to ask him.
I'd go for Robin Williams. It wouldn't really be a question. I'd just want to sit down and have a chat with him over a pint.
Yeah, you're another monkey.
Yeah. Just sit down and have a natter.
I absolutely love that. You know, like an actual monkey liked him. It was
the gorilla.
It was gorilla, wasn't it? It was Coco.
Yeah.
And for someone, and she was gutted as well when he passed away. I don't know who told her.
She read it.
She read it, yeah. She could do sign language, couldn't she?
Yeah.
And he could as well.
Yeah. They talked to each other. They fell in love.
Yeah. That was brilliant, that.
So
That's him all over, isn't it?
Yeah.
After this, I'm going to go upstairs and watch Patch Adams and cry on my own.
Aw. So last one.
Awakenings.
Hated figure would be Stalin.
Oh.
Now, here's the thing. During the Second World War, he wasn't the hated figure. He was part of the Allies. Because Russia was good. Then the war ended and the fucking Iron Curtain fell down. Churchill got pissed off and the fucking Cold War started. But what I would want to ask Stalin is, why in flying fuck did you honestly think that Hitler would actually take that deal and leave you alone? Why did you think Hitler would not attack Russia? You fucking idiot. Duh!
Right at the beginning.
Because see, if Stalin had not taken the deal and jumped in early with the United Kingdom before Pearl Harbor was bombed, the war would have been over far fucking quicker.
As well as with Russia, obviously, with it being such a vast country.
Big country.
It took them absolutely ages to get any troops down to the front line, and the spitter spatter, if that's actually a word, of actual troops that did get there, they were just getting absolutely hammered.
They were slaughtered. Yeah, they were slaughtered. But
and what the Germans did to some of their villages were absolutely terrible.
Fucking shocking what they did. But that's what I would want to ask Stalin. Why the fuck did you think Hitler would take up that deal?
Do you know another thing when you were saying about Hitler? What you were asking, I'd have gone, how did you find Argentina?
Yes, I actually watched a video on that the other day.
Yeah, the Argentina story. Apparently, him and a whole load of other fucking Nazis fucked off to South America.
Operation Paperclip. That's all I'm going to say.
That's the one.
That's all I'm going to say. Because do you know what? I actually watched a video
to do
on
with
that.
Windows 98.
Do you know what? I watched a video on that the other day because obviously there's the scientific evidence behind it.
There is.
The body that they found in the basement that they were claiming to be Hitler.
It was the body of a woman.
It was a female, yeah.
Yep.
It was a female, and that's proven. That's not denied.
Ava Brown was there as well.
Yeah, but the two bodies were both female. Now, the Argentina thing was obviously the space race that comes in because Operation Paperclip came in and some of the top scientists from the Nazi Party got took over to South America. They got given their own little Germany in Argentina. And Operation Paperclip, which got blown like Paraguay, sorry. Cheers, Mike. But Operation Paperclip, they all got brought over. They got given new identities.
It was definitely Argentina where they said they went.
They got everything pulled in, and they got new identities. They got social security numbers. They got everything else.
America took a load of them.
Oh yeah.
You what?
America took a load of.
That's what I mean. It was Operation Paperclip. That's what it was called, and they all got put on the rocket and got made to work on the space race.
Yeah, and who also did they take all the papers from were us.
Good night, David.
It were from Rolls-Royce.
Yeah.
From Royal Mail.
Well, I want Royal Mail because they'd never get there on time, would it? It was Rolls-Royce, you know, with all the engines and stuff that they were doing.
Yeah.
There's actually there was people from Argentina who said that they'd seen him, and apparently was it 1973 he died?
He'd got a kid as well, apparently. He'd got a daughter, reportedly, if he was alive. Cracking question. Thank you very much. That was a decent bit of content. We'll thank you for that one. Sean Garb writes in, question for all casters on the #1 vape show. What's the strangest flavoured e-liquid you've tried and actually liked?
Jane's Shy Tots. Get yourself up to Shy Tots. She's absolutely fantastic.
Don't you dare say cheese on toast or something like that.
No, it was. I think it was something like a Zaflora one or something like that. It was.
No, it was the herbal tea. Was it the tea one?
I thought it was the Zaflora. There were me and Michael went. That's actually quite nice. And it was I think it was the second charity life for the Misfits.
Yeah, the one that we did the weird flavours.
Jane's in there. I think it was the Flora, and it was like, this tastes really, really nice.
this is going to sound really, really strange. I once tried a lobster flavor.
Ew.
It was one of them weird ones, right? It was one of them weird ones. If you remember back to the old Vape UK network days, when I used to do the Great British Vape Off copyright infringement, the Great British Vape Off, I was doing a little skit where I started trying random liquids. And the company that I was working with has since gone bust, but they were making me all sorts of random flavors. I had a French toast and bacon. I had a curry one. I had all sorts. Well, they made a couple of behind-the-scenesy ones that was going to come up before Last of the Summer Vapes got created. But this lobster-flavoured one was... yeah, thanks, Martin. I've got PTSD from that. But the lobster one was sweet, yet a little bit salty. It was I want to say meaty, but it weren't meaty. It was like a crab stick meat.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I enjoy a crab stick, but a bit like a crab stick meat. It was quite nice. It does say the strangest flavoured e-liquid you've tried naturally liked, so...
Can't say it what I wanted to say, but believe me, I'm sure the people who are watching this show. So I like the way you described that.
Like a crab stick.
No, the bit before it. It was a little bit
salty,
sweet.
but sweet.
It was a little bit salty. And it was like a big bit of meat. Well done, son. Straight down the hatch.
Did it?
Don't forget to tap yourself on the head.
Good girl.
Go on, Vic.
Strangest. No, I don't know. I can't remember if it was Ian, the old Castle Vape, or if it was Viking
What a bloke he is.
or if it was Viking Vaporizers that did it. But there was an orange tea,
I miss Ian.
and I can't remember if it was
Kev.
I can't remember if it was Ian or Kev that done it. I think it might have been Viking Vaporizers, but it was basically an Earl Grey tea. Now, before then, every single tea-flavoured vape sucked. They were fucking awful. And then one of those, I'm sure it was Viking. I'm sure it was
Viking, because Ian absolutely nailed desserts.
Nah, it was before Sensei's. It was before Sensei's morning tea. Yeah, that was
Tom anyway.
Yeah, that was Tom. It was long before Sensei's. It was either Viking or Castle. I'm thinking it was Viking that did it. But that was a fucking phenomenal tea flavour.
If anybody does want to try a phenomenal tea flavour, we're going to send it over, old folks. They did a tea and biscuits, and it's like a builder's tea. What we tasted at Expo, they've released it now, I think.
It was good.
Absolutely spot on. Out of all their flavours, that were my favourite. It was the tea and biscuits, and it was like a builder's tea. You could even have that sort of sweetness to it, and it was like a digestive afterwards.
Yeah, like a biscuity, rich tea kind of flavour. Oh, it was good.
Really, really
I've seen
good.
that, Lord Badass.
Really good. It was, wasn't it, Bunny? Absolutely gorgeous.
Do you know what, right? Ian, and this harkens back to how nice a character Ian were. I think Ian was the first person to say something extremely randomly nice about Last of the Summer Vapes. We were at Expo. We were outside a stall, and Ian literally walked over and went, "You boys have me pissing myself from beginning to end. It's like you don't know what you're doing and you know exactly what you're doing all at the same time." And just put his arms around us and went,
yeah.
And I'll never ever forget it. Never ever forget it. Such a nice guy.
It was Marty. Again, you can check this out on the channel way back 7 years ago.
When he went to the vape shop.
Me and Marty were the first sort of place I'd gone to. There were Gail there. I don't think Bunny was there. I'm not quite sure if Bunny was there. Gail was there. Sinner were there. So when he opened the shop up, and it was just fantastic. What a day it was. Was you there, Bunny? I don't know if you were there. I know Gail were definitely there. We had peas pudding.
Oh, I love peas pudding.
Oh, there were loads of food, everything. It was brilliant.
Right. Gareth Barker writes in, the wonderful Gareth Barker, Mr. Shrek himself. So it seems the disposable ban is confirmed in France is planning on banning disposable vapes following from such as Germany and New Zealand, and now with Scotland putting a potential disposable ban on the table, UK may follow soon. We already know where this is going. Has anyone seen what some companies in China are proposing to do for said bans? 2 mil pre-filled, non-refillable pods with rechargeable battery cases. Alpha Pro, Alpha P1, Alpha Mate.
Yeah,
R3.
that basically sounds like a Generation 1 pod kit.
Yeah,
well,
that's
so
what happened before.
To answer that, Elfmate have had Elfbar have had an Elfmate out for about 2 years now, which is pre-filled pods with the Elfbar liquids. It's called the Elfmate 500. Takes P1 pods. Then they've released the Elfa, ELFA, the Elfa pod, which looks like an Elfbar, got a 2 mil pre-filled pod on it, and they've just released the Alpha Pro, which is exactly the same except it's got see-through pods. So they've been trying to do that for ages. It's not took off because people are lazy and the pods burn out pretty quick. I suppose it's better than fully disposable, but who here reckons that this will cause the next problem? The problem being the new 2 mil pod and battery, when used up by idiots, will simply get thrown away and get another one, therefore creating more problems than the 6+ mil disposables. Thoughts and queries. We've already covered a lot of this.
Well, obviously, just going back, that isn't new.
No.
Obviously, we go back to what 20. I think the first started coming out.
Vape, Views, Blue, they all released their pre-filled one, didn't they?
Yeah, pre-filled. We're talking. Obviously, we talked about this again before. We all had pre-filled sort of cartridges before that, going back to 2006. But I'm on about when they sort of came into the mainstream. Would you say, Vic, 2017?
It would have been Joule originally back in 2016.
Yeah. And then, but when we started seeing them coming out, like mass sort of hitting the market,
yeah, between 2017,
2018.
yeah, 2017.
2017, you were walking around, and again, you've got to think these were the devil then.
Kilo made one.
Kilo, that is one.
Amazing.
They make some brilliant flavors. I've still got my actual devices here. I ain't bought any of it for a while.
It was called a Kilo 1K.
Yeah, 1K. Well, it was just a Kilo to start off with, then they brought the 1K out. And the pods, again, 2 mil pre-filled pods, really, but the only trouble with them is they're going to last you a day or two at the most.
Oh, yeah.
600 puffs.
Yeah. Yeah, but all these what these disposable companies have basically announced is a Generation 1 pod kit, a pre-filled pod with a rechargeable battery. And I think that's what's going to end up happening with the likes of Oxford, because they're going to obviously do one. Vapor Esso are probably going to do one later on. They're going to reset the generations back to Generation 1, because they know that with the UK banning disposables, France is now in the motion of banning disposables, and if France do it, it's going to be forced through the next TPD. So there's Europe gone. That's Europe gone.
Another thing as well, Vic, we were talking about Zeus Juice, who obviously still are a UK company and they're absolutely massive, but they've obviously put a lot of stuff over abroad. And they were saying obviously a lot over like in Saudi and the Middle East sort of thing, where these bands aren't going to be coming in.
Yeah, they won't.
Is it, and they haven't been at Expo for quite a number of years, Zeus, since the lockdown and that. Yep. Is this going to drive companies who still do the disposables away from the UK and go to the market more abroad where they're not?
I can guarantee you the next World Vape Show in Saudi Arabia is going to be nothing but fucking disposables. So everyone says that disposables ruin the UK Vapor Expo. There's a reason that disposables essentially took over the UK Vapor Expo after COVID, because the problem was on the 2 years of COVID, when there was no UK Vapor Expo, the entire industry changed in the UK, not just in the UK, but over in Germany as well for Hall of Vape. And that 2-year run-up to the UK Vapor Expo coming back after COVID, it's not confirmed, but I heard from several vendors that what was basically happening was the UK Vapor Expo put out their floor plan. And it was like people can ring up the number, and it was Jay or one of Jay's staff that answered. And what these disposable companies were basically doing was literally throwing suitcases of cash at the UK Vapor Expo to, number one, outbid the likes of Aspire, number two, get the centre tier runs, and number three, make sure that people seen them. It's not a case of Geek Vape, Aspire, Lost Vape, those kind of companies basically ditching the UK market. They didn't want to outbid the money that was being thrown down by the disposable makers. What will probably happen is, when the ban gets, whenever the ban takes place, it's probably not going to happen for the October Expo, but I'm thinking it's going to happen for the May Expo, when the disposables have ditched the UK, you're going to see the big names back.
Remember one thing,
see them.
and this is one thing that a lot of people forget, and as much as we like to think that Vapor Expo is ours, it's a trade show.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh,
it's a trade show.
Yeah, it's a trade show.
And the problem is, we have to be willing passengers to a certain degree when it comes down to the trade show. The problem that we've had over the last couple of expos since it came back, or the last expo, is the trade show aspect of it has been louder than the hobbyist side.
Yeah.
The hobbyist side has not been there at all to a certain degree. Geek Bar, for example, the May we went to, Geek Bar had a full Geek Vape had a full stand of Geek Bar, and on the other side they had a small, what looked like fold-out table with the B60 on it. They had the new Zeus tank on there. They had all sorts of other bits and pieces hidden away around the corner. But it's a trade show first and foremost. So unfortunately, we have to be unwilling passengers until we speak up enough and stop buying the disposables, and the shops stop buying the disposables in. That's when the trade shifts. So we have actually, when we say cautiously optimistic about this ban, this is where it will swing. Vic's already seen products coming in from these companies that were manufacturing Novo bars, Smog.
Dual battery box mod from Smog just released.
Yeah, and that market shift will switch. When that market shift switches, that trade show will then display the stuff that is available here in the UK.
Yep.
Because don't forget, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds that swap hand on them deals on them days.
Oh, yeah. And another thing as well is, I've got to take my hats off to the expo. They listened. From the first one when we went back there, they listened. They give us the home zone.
The home zone.
Shout out to Jane and everybody who's there. And I'm sure it's going to be even bigger this time round. And that's what we've got to look at, is slowly moving towards that way. Just asking, are we going? Me and Vic are going. Adam's not going until the May one, but me and Vic are going to be there.
Yeah, me and Aidan will be there probably at the bar. Well, Aidan will be at the bar.
Yeah. We'll be doing a little bit of a. Well, you'll be riding round. Do they get an extra little seat that because it's on the back?
Here, I think
trailer.
I am sure I've seen double-seater scooters there.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. Can you imagine all the fucking memes are going to get done after us for that one?
Let's get through these. We've got three more questions.
I'll be called
boys.
fucking Kelvin Guy by the end of it.
Riding them coattails. Don't forget when I rode back your trailer with Zan.
You did? That's right.
That's how you do it.
Fucker over
Back
as
on
well.
the ground and hold on for your life. Alan Vickery writes in, it's believed that in ancient times we had the land of giants. Do the others in the group believe giants existed a long time ago? And how you support Vic as he's still living with them considering his height? Nice to see you back on the mend, Vic.
Thanks.
The land of the giants.
Land of the giants. There's a lot. So Homo flores.
Argentina.
So there's Homo floresa, which is the small pygmy human. Then there was supposed to be the opposite side. So before we became Homo erectus, erection, Homo erectus. Before we became Homo sapien, sorry, not Homo erectus, we were Homo erectus. Then there's a missing link that's in the middle. That's either the Homo flores or the larger version of the human being, and then we filtered through both of those and became Homo sapiens.
You know what's fucking great about it? There's a load of people went to university. They got an MVQ to start off with. They've spent thousands of pounds just to make shit up. Because really, we have got no clue. How many bones have they found of ginormous humans?
None.
Well, then again, if this thing of the ice thing, there might be somebody sat there with a Pepsi in his hand who's 80 foot tall going
at the ice wall.
How do we know? You don't know, do you? You can use your common sense about us evolving from monkeys. I can quite grab hold of that one.
I'm furry.
I'm massively furry. And sometimes I go, what that? So the other thing about it is, how do we know? It's just people just saying it, isn't it? It's somebody who sat down there, got an MVQ in golf, and then went, I've got to go on to university now. Spent all his mum and dad's money.
Yep.
To be honest with you, he had
William,
3 years. There's a gap
right
year
there,
going
William,
around
right there.
Australia.
Looking for big bones.
Exactly, and that's what he got. There were 3 Latvian girls and 4 from Slovenia. So you don't know, do you?
You don't
Land
know.
of the Giants. Land of the Giants, eh?
Cracking question, Alan. Thank you very much. Chris Henderson writes in.
Do you know what, as well? You're thinking about it. You could just sit there and go, I'll tell you what, once upon a time, there were kangaroo land. And you can't, everybody just hopped everywhere. They were like half kangaroo, half humans, and they had a ginormous pouch. And just think about it at that time as well. They had supermarkets, you didn't have to bring a bag. You were fine. In front of you. How do you know? Because Jeff.
Don't you start on them trolleys.
Twitter's over.
It's on X now. You have to find you on X. Chris Henderson writes in. What was the last horror movie you watched? And if you had to spend a day in that world, would you survive it?
The last horror film that I watched.
Horror, like full horror movie.
To be honest with you, I went back and watched one, not yesterday. No, yeah, it was after I finished work. So it was Sunday. And I wanted to go and show Lou, again, DayZ. Not DayZ, what's it called? The one with Brad Pitt in it.
World War Z.
World War Z, yeah.
World War Z, because it's actually filmed a part of it in Scotland, and it's where Paul McCartney picked me up from the station to go and take me to his house. And I went, can't you remember? This is where you go. So that first bit is filmed in Scotland. They're fast zombies, then.
They're very fast and fucking scary.
There's no
Would you
way
survive it?
There's no way if obviously BFG, when we did discuss this before, he said that he'd actually bring old ladies with him
to push them in.
Push them in. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, no, that because they were fast, weren't they?
Yeah. If there was ever going to be a zombie apocalypse, you need to make sure the zombies are like the zombies from, I don't know, Walking Dead. The slower ones. Because the World War Z ones, you're fucked. You're done. You're done.
What was
I'll
the
probably
last
not survive.
Well, I'll go next. The last, and the reason that I did it is because I watched the prequel to the thing. With
so I knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, the prequel to the thing, and I'm like, oh, it's okay, and it just put me in the mood to watch the original one with Kurt Russell. I mean, okay, it looks dated, but the effects were still fucking phenomenal.
What, Big Trouble in Little China?
No, the original Kurt Russell thing. Shut up.
What? Lost in Los Angeles?
The Thing.
The Thing.
Oh, The Thing.
Yeah, The Thing. The original one.
Yeah.
Because I watched the prequel.
Wasn't The Thing an actual 1950s?
Oh, yeah, it was originally... it came out after Steve McQueen was in The Blob, and then there was the 50s version of The Thing, which was a B movie, and then it got all jazzed up for the 1970s version with Kurt Russell. Fucking phenomenal film, The Thing. Phenomenal film.
They did nice to see you, buddy.
I can't remember what the last horror movie I watched was. I think it was Spiral from the Book of Saw.
Oh,
you know, the separate film to Saw. It was Chris Rock in it, and to be fair, yeah, that's about it.
Any horror movie with Chris Rock in it, you're gonna be like, whoa.
Look, at first you like that, and then you go, wait a minute, he's actually acting quite serious in this. I was expecting him to walk around slapping Will Smith, shouting "motherfucker" all the time. But
yeah. Your wife's a baldy.
But it weren't. It was all right. Yeah, but. Yeah, I'd survive it. You wouldn't just get involved, would you? Someone walked over to you saying, "Do you want to play a game?" I'd be like, "No, thank you."
No, it's okay. I'm fine. Unless
all
it's
right.
something to do with table tennis, I'm just not playing some.
Yeah.
Do you know out of any of the horror movies that have been re-released? The re-released Hellraiser. Now, my brother, me and my brother watched that when it first ever came out. My mum used to go to bed. My dad were on nights, and we'd go and get it from video shop. And I remember watching Hellraiser, and I thought it were absolutely brilliant. And then they did the reboot of it, and it was absolutely pants.
Yeah, I didn't like the reboot. Did not like it one bit.
I've done the same with Evil Dead. So they're just about to release the Evil Dead Rise on Netflix, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm ready for a bit of Evil Dead, and it's not even got Ash in it, so I'm not bothered.
Do you know the other one as well was Quantum Leap? I'm like, get in, and then I went and watched one of it, and I'm thinking, this does not.
Royally fuck Quantum Leap up. Yeah, they royally fuck Quantum Leap up.
I'll tell you one that I had.
Soldiers is good.
It's not a horror film. One Piece.
Cod Piece.
One Piece. the anime that they made into live action on Netflix.
Everybody
Brilliant.
around the world.
But yeah, I'd survive. I'd just tell them no, I don't want to go and play that game.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is that would be proper scary though if you wake up in like some sort of like abandoned school and you're like are tied to a
Yeah. I'd chew it straight off. I'd eat it. Get that leg off. And I'd just stomp it out.
Imagine that shouting as well through the window going, what do you think of disposables? Let's talk about this for a little while. We've got hours.
While chewing on your ankle going, fuck off. Yes, One Piece, everyone. One Piece.
I swear he said cod piece.
Cod piece. Cracking question, Chris. Thank you very, very much. Last question for the evening.
Ooh.
Ben Martin writes in, to any of the casters of the #1 vape show who may have an insight or just an opinion. Each expo, everyone I speak to complains about the stage being so close to the Ohm Zone and being as they are the only places where people can sit/rest. The stage is deafening, and I know the exhibitors in the Ohm Zone have complained that they can't hear customers due to the volume from the stage. Has it ever been changed because the business won't allow it? Has it never been changed because the building won't allow it? I can't think of why they wouldn't have addressed it yet. Going back to what we said before, when it was a trade show for the trade of the hobbyist, the whole of Expo was the Ohm Zone, and then we had the rest area built.
Yeah.
We had the rest area, and we also had the media lounge.
Yeah,
if you remember, and they were both sides of the main walkthrough. So I think with us being an afterthought,
I love that as well. Scotland, Magaluf, on the other side of Ohm Zone over there, and
but with us being the afterthought of the trade show at the moment, with the disposable branch and everything else that's going off. It's only commonsensical for them to start to maneuver it further down back into a place.
Is that actually a word, though?
Commonsensical.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounded like...
It sounded right. It sounded all right. Because you ever think every time you do a big word, I use it all week.
Exactly. You will do when you stood there.
Yeah, I feel good. That's not even a word. Adam said it was right, so I'm going to use it. Adam, you've got to really think about this. So we go back to the early expos of it. You went to every single stand, although most of them, and they were booming out music.
Oh, yeah.
So we had loads of friends who were juice companies, and then you'd have somebody next to him who sat down there with loads of drum and bass. You know what I mean?
But JC, he did Pocket Fuel and all the other liquids. I went to do an interview with him. I went and spoke to Vapable first, and then I walked over to him, and he'd got this big speaker from the next stand that was actually facing his stand.
That's get it turned down, didn't
he? And I'm going like that with my GoPro, going, "You're gonna have to speak into it."
It was a bad problem for a long time, and I think they addressed it a number of times. But the stage, again, it does need to be moved.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. The stages at the back, so the front entrance isn't as loud.
Yeah.
And the problem with the Ohm Zone is tucked at the back because all of the money is made at the front. So if the Ohm Zone was shifted to the front, because of the size of the Ohm Zone, the UK Vapor Expo is losing a shitload of money because a lot of space at the front is being taken up. That's why.
But let's be honest with you. Do we need bumper cars?
No, I never seen anybody on the fucking things.
Not very much. Let's get rid of the bumper cars. Move the actual, the food trucks and that. Move them around that sort of side, and then stick it sort of over that way. Like Magaluf and Scotland over that way, side. Just put them over that way. That's what we need. Just get it out of the way, and then you can have. What's the point in having such a great zone like the Ohm Zone, where people want to talk to UK companies that are building their own stuff? Look at Vape Smarter. How are you going to have a conversation with you when you've got a Joanne Water and we've got the great people who are doing this, throwing shit
you can't
at you?
get a fucking thing.
No.
Catch this 10ml bottle. It's 5 milligram.
Yeah, just lobbing it at people, and then they're all wrestling and fighting each other. Just put them over, like sort of in maybe to the left, but just like way out of the way.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, just do what the Hall of Vape done. Split the hall in two. One side is going to be for e-liquids and loud shit, and the other side is going to be nice and quiet for the hardware side. But you can't do that because there's not enough hardware to do it. So forget I said that.
So yeah, Sean, yeah, I remember that you waved. I think you were actually on the vlog as well, buddy.
So scratch that. No one ever goes on them fair rides.
No, that was different. That was like the big wheelie thing, which looked like it were going to tip over, if I'm totally honest with you.
It did.
I did like the casino.
Yeah, but you got nothing.
I know.
Yeah, we put money into it. You paid your money. You went through and thought, oh, Lou's like, oh, we've won money. I went, yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. This went through. You've now got a shitty box full of 0 milligram juice.
Yep. Waste of fucking time.
And you could see the woman going around. You've got any samples? Any samples?
Yeah.
Put it in her own box. You can win a car. Fuck off. Nobody's won a car ever.
Now, the only person who's won any of them cars is your Mark when he sat there going, I can feel it.
He looked like a Lego bloke in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for filling our sack.
Yay! And we got
Well, that's the thing. They've got to address the stage. It's got to be one of. And if you look on their website or on their Facebook page, it's something that's massively said all the time in it. Just stop it and the boom, boom, boom music.
Yeah, the fucking never-ending fucking music from Saturday
You know what?
Sunday.
It pulls you into a false sense of security as well, because we can get in on business to business day
When it's
and
quiet.
and it's like and lovely like cafe music.
What,
as
bit
you
of Baker
walk around.
Street?
Yes, and then you walk in on Saturday morning, and you may have had a little bit to drink on the Friday, but
Never.
you're in on the Saturday, and it's and you're like, no. It was weird.
Water, we've got this and we're throwing it out.
The best thing about it is it'd be all right on stage if they had good audio, but it's not. It's
It is.
T-shirt cannon.
We've got the wonderful people from and they're going to throw.
Yeah, the PA system sucks on that stage. It's fucking awful. You don't understand the word they're fucking saying.
I've got to admit, I do love what it is. You know, like people watching. I do absolutely love the people who.
I think that's the only time we'll go and stand around the crowds, just going like that.
It's absolutely brilliant because as well, they've all suddenly got a hat that look like a beggar from like Leeds Station or something. They've got the hat and they're like that. They're trying to catch shit in it. This is horrible. I actually watched. Yeah, I've got fucking loads of them. I watched an old lady. Well, she wasn't an old lady, but a lady in a wheelchair. They were knocking her over.
Oh yeah, they were.
They're not about anymore. Collector's item that.
No,
Yeah, they got sucked up by Watofo.
Right there.
You're a tart.
You're a tart.
They're not about anymore. They set on fire.
Oh no!
Did you hear about that?
Yeah. That's
So,
Vape Dinner Lady.
so apparently, Dinner Lady's factory, didn't it? Did
Yeah,
you
they're
see
still
it?
around. There's the Vape Dinner Lady released a statement saying they're still around. Apparently, what caught fire was one of their storage warehouses.
I thought it might have been the juice because a lot of that cardboard would have gone up.
It made it. No. So call it conspiracy theory, call it insider trading, call it whatever you like. Maybe, just maybe, the guys at said company, I'm not going to mention anything so I don't get in trouble legally, had just taken delivery of quite a few disposables before hearing about what was going off.
Yes.
Maybe, just maybe, something may have happened that could be claimed back on insurance.
Yes.
Obviously, this is nothing.
It's nothing. It's nothing
words
factual.
From the UK Vape Show, or it doesn't mean that we all think these things.
No, exactly that. But
That big batch of stuff that we're going to Asda is going to be in trouble, isn't it?
ooh. But yeah. Oh, I'm empty now.
I'm sorry, we shouldn't have said anything about that.
Oh, we should not have gone down
Not
that
as if
route.
they're fucking watching, for fuck's sake.
I'm not being funny, Adam. Just think about all the times they give you an apron, a beach.
I got a surfboard.
It's everything, all this shit. He's not going to be snuggling you at the next expo, is he?
No, because that's when it used. That's honestly, genuinely, Vape Dinner Lady. I have a good history with. When their liquid used to be nice, and they didn't overexert themselves. I honestly think it's because they went too big. When you go too big, there's corners that get cut, sweetener in your liquids, and so on and so forth.
In your e-liquids.
Yeah, and mass producing non-steep, that kind of thing. There's a lot of reasons why it could go down that route. But back in the day,
like their rice pudding.
Do you know what? Their cornflake tart, their original cornflake tart, was banging.
Now it's cardboard.
Yeah. Now it tastes like bland rice.
Now it's ash.
But back in the day when they first started making the rounds, and I remember when they first won the first Best Stand at Expo.
Yeah, the first award
is after, and they were so happy. They were so happy. But then certain companies just go too big too soon, and they got the big sort of Asda, Tesco, petrol station, everything else. And that's when we're seeing the decline in the flavours. In my opinion, a lot of people still swear by him, but I think that's what happened.
Again, you used to see him in a lot of vape shops. You don't see him in vape shops now, do you?
You don't see them now. They're in fucking supermarkets now.
Is that something to do with the fact that they've signed something with a supermarket? Obviously, whereas the one at Walmart.
We can still get them. You can still get them.
You still get them, but they're not. You've got to think. You always. I'll tell you what. If you walk into probably 90% of a vape shop, there's always a Vampire vapes there, isn't there?
Oh God, yeah. There's always Vampire because they're cheap.
We don't stock Vampire.
You don't?
I think they're an absolute fantastic juice.
We don't stock Vampire, and you know what? Vape Dinner Lady and IVG are on clearance.
Oh.
So when people walk in and we go, they're the shit juices. Why is this Dinner Lady £5? It's amazing. I'm like, oh, you need to try this one.
See, I'm a little bit. Obviously, I've vaped Vampire vape since.
Yeah.
Their Parma Violets is absolutely brilliant. If you're into that
actually
sort of
quite
stuff.
nice. Yeah.
They've got their Heisenberg is absolutely spot on, and if you buy them up, what, 3 for a tenner?
The problem with Vampire Vape to get it distro is expensive. If you're going to buy direct, they want bulk buys, and obviously, if your customer base is not for that. We only have a set sort of amount of people that vape Heisenberg, and we wouldn't be able to make their minimum order on that kind of stuff.
Right.
Bearing in mind, when we're doing Riot and Disposable orders, they're through the roof. So they want minimum orders and stuff like that. It's not cheap to buy, company-wise.
I'll tell you now, the 60-watt guy, Homeboy, they used to sponsor 3 Men in the show. The stuff I don't like. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't like their Volume 1, but the Volume 2 stuff is absolutely on point. And the one that you're on about is really, really nice. They did one with mint. They did a rhubarb one. Absolutely, really, really nice. I didn't like the Volume 1, but the Volume 2 stuff really, really good.
Yeah.
And they sort of, I think they did one with elderberry, and they did.
Yeah, they did.
And I'll tell you what, they did a grape. And you know yourself how hard is grape, and it was a white grape. It wasn't a dark grape.
That's hard.
Try and get them.
Well, just said white grape, and the white grape and peach is really nice.
Honestly, the Volume 2. I think the pear apple and raspberry flavour is actually from the Volume 2. It's in a clear bottle with like floral stuff on it. Really, really nice. Really good. Really good stuff. And again. People like Shy Tots, get yourself over to there. She does some amazing flavours.
She does. The award-winning Shy Tots.
And obviously we've got Rochford as well. We're so lucky in the UK for the mixes that we've got. And obviously Nevins and Bugs have just come out with their line.
Yep.
You can't not mention Mike Serendipity. But obviously the Wick Liquor stuff is legendary itself. It's been around ever since I've been vaping. So you don't have to go very far for the juices here in the UK, can you?
Oh, we've got some really good juice makers in the UK. That's for fucking sure.
Massive. Oh, and obviously you've got the Vaping with Vic line.
Where
Well,
is it?
EV again.
They're in that line, Vic.
Where is it? There it is. There's it.
EV again.
Yeah.
This is absolutely fantastic. Again, if you've not tried another juice, if you're into like your what they're called slushies, try that. Honestly, go and get that. That is absolutely gorgeous. Spot on as a juice.
Yeah, exceptional vape stuff is good.
Yeah,
It's good.
nice people as well. Nice people.
Personally, my favourite's that one. The baked Alaska is fucking phenomenally good.
Again,
Really
it's
is.
more of a dessert stuff. I'm not really into desserts.
Oh, I love dessert
I am
vapes.
just starting to move into the wintry dessert ranges now. I've always done it every single year. I'm always fruits in summer, desserts in winter. And that's why the Rochford project and the RDAs and stuff have started to be broke out, because I can get me nice. I don't know why. I don't like dessert salts, right?
Oh,
Dessert salts. I don't know why, because they've got that inherent sweetness to them already. They are too overly sweet. But if you vape something on an RDA, RTA, cracking.
Is there any cooling in there? If there is, it's very, very, very subtle. It's
Very
not
subtle.
over the top.
very
It's
subtle.
very, very subtle. It's not going to sit down there and blow your head off. I love my menthols and stuff like that, but it's not going to blow your head off. It's more of the sort of. Do you know if you went and got a slushy and you got the end bit of it, you know, like the watery bit with the flavour? It's more like that.
Paul B asks, where can you pick up your line?
Head on to Google Paul B and type in Exceptional Vapes UK and you'll see the Vaping with Vic line at the top. And Mush Castle Vapes is not around, but Ian's still. With that, the last time I talked to Ian, he was the regional install manager for Virgin Media.
The last time I spoke to him, he was actually an expo before the lockdown, or it might be the one. No, it was before it. And he was doing for Juicy. You know where he was actually on stage.
Yeah.
He was working on the that, and it was so lovely to see him. He's a lovely bloke.
Mark, just keep an eye on Elf Lick. The Elf Lick is not made by Elf Bar, no matter what they say.
Was it not made by Elf Bar?
Elf Bar Liquid, so behind the scenes is shit. Elf Bar Liquid's made by Hangson, right? And Hangson will not give out their proprietary recipes.
They won't. Yeah.
Which is
Elf
now called
asked them.
Atom, isn't it?
Yeah, Elf Bar asked them for their proprietary recipes so they could sell their own liquid, even if they wanted to make it white label. And Hangson went, no, we're not going to let it go. We don't want it out there. So what they did is they released via OEM, indirectly, someone else, they released Elf Lick. So it's not directly made by Elf Bar, but it's why they can use the Elf branding, because it's indirectly, because it's a China company anyway.
Oh yeah, it is.
So what they've done is they've just copied it, cloned it, send it somewhere else, white label everywhere around, and it's not directly made by Elf Bar.
You've got to think, Hangsen was one of the original companies out there that put liquid out there.
Hang Sen and Dekang, the two longest running, because they were there at the very fucking beginning. The very beginning.
My dad still vapes there. They got rid of the Energy Cow, but he still vapes there. I think it's Golden Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tobacco.
And you can get it so cheap, and it's not about, it's not my type of thing, but he mixes that. It's not my type of thing, but what was that?
Storm has just put, I love Ian's Caramelicious. Caramelicious
That
was
was so good, Caramelicious.
Yeah.
Oh,
What were the other flavors that he did?
that's only one I can remember. Caramelicious. He had a coffee one out, from what I remember.
Yeah. I'm sure he did a Bailey's as well.
Any idea when you're releasing any more liquid? Well, Princess was out about 2 months ago now. I'm trying to come up with not a Christmas themed one, because that's a big mistake doing a Christmas themed one, because all you'll do is get sales in November, December, come January, no fucking sales. But what I'm trying to come up with is a kind of wintry autumn like flavour, so it will sell through into next year.
What's the actual? Obviously, people haven't seen it. Princess. What's the actual flavour profile of that?
I'm not going to say Kiora,
Eeyore.
but I'm going to say
I'll be your
something.
dog.
I'm going to say something very similar to Kiora, but with a
Is it
lot of
Umbongo?
with a no, it's not Umbongo. Umbongo was meh. It's good. It's something
Umbongo.
like if you try the old Kiora diluting stuff, it's like a little bit like Kiora, but with a lot more watermelon and grape in the background.
So basically, Vic sat there drinking his dilute and gone,
Oh no, my dilute is simple.
and they've gone.
Orange.
It's gone. If Fantasy can do it with their Malaysian liquids,
Yeah.
this.
So the to be honest with you, Vic, the one that I would like you to release, we were sat at a garden party at Jules's. Big love to Jules. She's not very well at the minute.
She's not,
big
yeah.
love to her. And it was peach, raspberry, and what else were in it? It tasted amazing. You couldn't quite get the raspberry right on it or something.
Oh, the Melba.
Yeah.
Yeah, the peach Melba with raspberry. I couldn't get the raspberry's a fucking
I think
bastard
I'm
of a
telling you
flavour.
now, as a vapor, that was absolutely spot on.
The Melba was a
release
fucking
that.
nightmare.
I would release that. That was beautiful. And I'm going to see, I could taste it. I could taste that raspberry behind it. I could taste that peach.
I couldn't.
Oh no, that's like when Jay from Rochford Project came to Expo. Let me try a licorice and apple flavour that he'd made.
Which you never
and
released.
I went, oh, I liked it. And he went, no, I'm not releasing it.
Yeah, he done the same to me, and I said release it, and he went nope. And I went, you're fucking insane.
Yeah.
See, what you'll not know about, well, I think we've said it before here, but with Jay, he's got loads of liquids.
Yeah.
He's just sitting on.
He's a perfectionist.
Yeah, and he is that way, and he's a very shy man as well. We've tried to get him on the show. I've tried to get him on my show.
Nope.
We're all massively good mates with him. He's been suffering with a bad back, so big love, brother. The stuff that he's got, like, sort of back catalogued,
Yeah.
and we're all going, that's amazing. That's ace. Release it, and he just won't release it.
Nope.
Mark Curtin, Cast, is there any liquid that you love, but it's a fucker to get hold of? Mana by Mr. Net Reality himself.
Really good.
Oh, do you know what?
The Amatorium line, yep.
Amatorium line. Mana is banana, and it is the single best banana flavour I have.
I've got to totally and utterly back you up on that. Now, obviously, we've tried millions of liquids.
Yeah.
And I think it would be literally millions of liquids.
Yeah.
And if you ever get a banana flavour, it's always them foam bananas.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like banana. But Nana is, I think I said that.
Mana.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yep.
Absolutely fantastic.
Incredible.
It's like the best banana ever.
I can say what Aiden's is going to be. Mokuyatsu Bolt.
I'll tell you what, if there's anybody in the US who can still sort of get that, I'll pay money for that shit. I'll tell you as well, I've got a big shout out to Shrek. He's been trying to say, look, try this one, try that one, try this one. Even Jay had a little go at it, and it's like, it just won't taste.
It was an experiment.
Experiment. As
Spearmint.
we know, it's a experiment. But yeah, no, it's just that we're a proper, you know, like that Wrigley's gum, and it had that sort of, you know, that dusting of
Yeah, it felt like
sugar on it.
it felt like it coated your mouth. In other words,
Yeah,
that kind
it
of
did,
feeling,
and it was
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah.
It was just perfectly sweet, not overly sweet. It didn't leave you like fairy mouthed. It was just so nice. And again, we spoke about this on 3 Run and Vape Show when you sat there and you had your perfect vape.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to recreate that. And I'm sat there with a Cool Fire 4 with an iSub tank at roughly about 30 watts. I'd go through it, and it came in a thin 30 mil, nicotine already in it, which I think makes a lot of difference. Bang! I was doing like 30 mil of that a day. It would beaut.
Yeah. What about you, Vic?
to be honest, I mean, I don't really have a the flavours that I liked in the old days are still around.
Trip Hammer.
What?
Trip Hammer.
Oh, you love them.
The Trip Hammer stuff was good at the time, but if you looked at the price Trip Hammer was selling them for, they were fucking expensive for 30 mils of juice. But the thing is, I loved the Trip Hammer tobacco line, but then Les Pickin popped up.
Higgy Sigs.
So can you give us a little bit more about this? Obviously, the shop's shut.
Oh yeah, the shop the shop's gone. It's no longer owned. It's no longer owned by anything to do with Les Pickin.
Who took the line of it?
Yeah, Darkstar took over. So if you head
It's not
over
come out
to
yet.
what?
It's not come out yet.
No, it's not out because for the last conversation I had with the owners or the previous owners of Simply Leaf, I think it was Les Pickin's son actually, because he used to phone me up all the time. I've got new tobacco, but you want to try it? But he said there is literally tens of litres of pre-mixed original Les Pickin recipes that were basically given to the guys over at Darkstar. So the way I'm thinking about this, the amount of liquid alone that they got along with the concentrates, they've got enough Les Pickin recipe to keep them going well into 2024. I'm thinking they'll probably start running out of the original Les Pickin recipe and mixes.
They're not selling it.
What?
They're not selling it though.
Yeah, he is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because on the website, you know, obviously they've got the Facebook page. They're asking when is this going to come out, and they can't get it. They're saying that they can't get it.
Yeah, because the Darkstar website's not been updated yet, though.
Right.
But Darkstar basically own the Les Pickin name. So it's the full name, Les Pickin's Juice Cabin, Les Pickin's Simply Leaf. That's actually going to be on the label when Darkstar starts selling it.
It would have been Johnny's brother.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, it would have been. But yeah, I mean, at the time, Trip Hammer's NETs were phenomenally good, but then Les Pickin popped up. So instead of a 30ml bottle at fucking 15 quid, which is how much they were charging, Les Pickin popped up with 50ml bottles for half that price. Yeah. Wiped out Trip Hammer. Just wiped them out. I will say, though, Trip Hammer's Parma Violets was actually quite nice.
Was, yeah.
Not a scratch.
Do you think, somebody's saying like bathtub things, do you think when we sort of had the TPD coming in, do you think, obviously we had bathtub brewers and stuff like that, where some of the greatest recipes were ever built. Do you think now the people just lobbing it in, sticking it in a 50ml bottle and just leaving you to do your own little bit, sticking your nick shot in, and it's not as good as it was before?
No, it's not.
It's not. When I started vaping in 2014, the bathtub mixers, some of the best fucking flavours I tried back then was from individuals sitting in their fucking house, mixing and sending me out bottles. Because back then in 2014, 2015 was dominated by US liquids.
Without calling them bathtub brewers, we would never have had people like Jay, Demon Vape, back then.
Yeah, Demon Vape,
Tom from Forbidden Flavors.
Who's lost all the recipes as well.
Yeah, we had...
Classic example, Carol from Exceptional Vapes, he started off by himself.
Yep. Ian, Kev.
Yep.
We spoke about them all.
Again, Paul from Zeus Juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all started as bathtub mixers in 2014, 15 and 16.
Yeah.
But the nicotine were in it.
Yeah.
When the nicotine was in it and steeped fucking properly. Yeah.
And if you bought a bottle that weren't steeped from a shop, you complained and threw it back at him.
do you feel that people are just like mixing it, sticking it in a bottle and it's out as a batch?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And that's obviously people not getting them sort of flavours that you could get before. I remember, obviously, when I first started reviewing, my brother Solo, he'd come and bring a batch. So he'd already reviewed them, and then he'd come and bring a batch for me to start reviewing. And I couldn't wait until this batch turned up, especially with the little dripper bottles. And he'd be like, oh, I always remember one of them, like one of my first ones. Yeah,
These
like
fellas.
that.
Yeah.
Champagne and strawberries. And I can't remember the actual company. It's on my channel. It's like one of my third review, I think. What an absolute flavour. The champagne were popping, the strawberries were there, and it was like, whoa, this is... You can have it out like that now.
No, you can't. You can't. It's
all very, very muted. Now. Do you feel it's muted?
What?
Sometimes it is. I think a lot of companies, because nowadays we don't have although we have great ranges, we don't have the ease of that. Let it sit, let it steep. Companies are on such a short space of time between getting the order in and getting the order out.
They are.
I think it suffers a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you seen the time, boys?
Oh, fuck. We're actually late finishing. So let's wrap this up. By the way, next week is the last Thursday, is it? Yeah, as next week's the last Thursday of the month. As I said before, every last Thursday of the month we have a mini auction. So there's going to be a mini auction, probably 5. It's not going to be crazy. 5 or 6 boxes Half of it goes to children with cancer, half of it goes to my funds for the UK Vapor Expo. Thank you. So, little mini auction, nothing too big and dramatic. It'll be something like 3 mods per box. That's what I'm going to be doing, because I've got a fucking shitload of them over there that I'm trying to get fucking rid of. Taking up fucking stacks of fucking
How
space.
did you get a calendar in your left eye? You just went like that. He winked in his left eye and went.
Got them Google Glass on here.
It's because
Google mapped it.
I've got my Mandalorian calendar. See it?
No.
Did you not see Elon Musk's been allowed to put them chips in people? Vic's already got it. He's like,
Done.
I know where I am.
So who are we going to pick on first? We'll pick on Adam.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely delightful for us to be back. Do you know what? It's been a couple of weeks. I've just been chomping at the bit for this, and it's lived up to every expectation. So thank you, everyone in chat, and everyone who's gone over to the group. Make sure we are going to be here next week, so make sure that you get your questions in for in between the excitement that is the mini auction. So get your questions in. Thank you, everyone, for your input in chat as well, because obviously you've carried the show. We haven't even had to think of anything because you've just made it all for us. I am beginning my Halloween run-up over on What's That Behind You. So if you haven't already, get yourself over there. I am on the road to 500 subscribers.
It's fucking September.
Yeah, I've got a lot
Send
planned.
it to Asda.
I've got a lot planned for Halloween. A lot planned. I'm hoping the whole month of October is going to be Halloween based. So, hopefully, I'm going to do some sort of older stuff and some newer stuff and maybe some bits in between. But if you haven't already, get yourself over. Thank you, boys, for joining us all on this. I adore both of you. I think it's going to be incredibly weird for us not to have Grizz, because I didn't get my chance to say goodbye to him. So fuck shit and monkey tits.
I love the Queen.
I love the Queen. That's my last time I'm ever going to do that. So Sean, I miss you. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Good night.
That was Adam from What's That Behind You. On to Aidan from Little Bro Vape Reviews.
Big love to everybody. I think Adam said it absolutely perfectly. You lot in chat tonight have been absolutely on fire. Thank you so much for keeping us rolling. It's been absolutely fantastic. And also, thank you very much to all the spanners who keep us safe. Just reiterating, I said that as well, and I've had a beer.
Well done.
The one and only Sean is not here. Bro, it's not too late.
Come back. Everything's forgiven.
It's not too late, brother. I know you're watching. I know you're there. Look straight into my eyes. It is not too late, brother. But I miss you. It's not been the same without you. Big love to you all. Look after yourselves. Make sure you come and join me on next Wednesday. I'm back. I'm not working, with my wonderful brother Solo and the wonderful Mr. B for 3 Men and a Vape Show. Big love to you all, and look after yourself. And I'm a bit soberer than I was last week. Good night.
Did I miss anything?
No. Just be babbling like shit, like normal.
And that was Aidan from Mr. Little Bro Vapes. From me, big thanks to everyone. Sean, you are definitely missed. You're definitely missed. But next week is going to be the first of the mini. It's only going to be 6 or 7, not fucking anything crazy like 14, which lasts like...
I love the fact you went from 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 in space of like, I'm going to have a look over here.
It'll probably end up, because I'm looking at the box. It's like...
I thought you were about guests.
Those Amazon boxes, it's like fucking 5 deep stacked on top of each other, but it'll be a mini auction, put it that way. Big thanks to the spanners, massive thanks to everyone in chat, and of course, all you people who are watching the replay.
Whoop, whoop, replay!
Got to mention the replay, folks. We never do.
You're nicking my fucking stuff now. Anyway. I get one ask the casters. And
I'll tell you what, next week, I'm asking you for hand checks.
Anyway, that's it from us, folks. We'll see you next week. Bye.
I need a wee.